All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Look, if you've ever stared down a row of chemical buckets and felt totally, completely overwhelmed, trust me, you are not alone. Today, we're taking those dense, kind of boring chemistry manuals and turning them into a practical masterclass so you can get that perfectly balanced water. Now, you look at a sparkling pool like this, and what do you see? Just inviting, crystal clear water, right? But the crazy thing is, right beneath that super calm surface, there is an invisible, dynamic chemical battlefield happening literally as we speak. So, what's actually going on in this invisible war? Well, spoiler alert, it is definitely not magic. It's a really delicate balance of science. And we're going to break down the exact measurements, the deliberate chemical dosing, and the strict safety procedures that actually keep it that way. Here's our roadmap for today. We're hitting pool chemistry basics, calculating pool capacity, controlling pH with CO2, the acid alternative, and finally, adding acid safely. Okay, let's jump in. Section 1. Pool chemistry basics, vocabulary, and measurement. Because hey, before we can actually treat a pool, we need to know what words we're using, right? Okay, first up is total alkalinity. Think of this as the water's protective shield. It's what resists those crazy sudden shifts in chemistry. Without this buffer, your pool water would be a total wildcard. Just one sudden rainstorm or a pool party with a bunch of people could send your chemistry completely crashing. By keeping alkalinity in check, usually between 80 and 125 parts per million, we give the water its armor. And because that alkalinity is acting as our shield, it lets us focus on the main event, pH. We're constantly tweaking this to make sure it doesn't get too acidic or too basic. You know the scale, it goes from 0 to 14, with 7 being dead center neutral. If the water drops below 7, bam, it's acidic. It starts eating away at your metal fixtures and plaster. But if it creeps up past 7, now you're in the alkaline zone, risking cloudy water and nasty scale buildup. So our absolute holy grail here is hitting what's called the Langelier index of exactly 0. This means the water is perfectly happy, not scaling, not corroding. It takes all those moving parts, pH, alkalinity, calcium hardness, even the water temp, and mashes them into one single number. If you hit 0, you have nailed perfect water balance. Moving on to Section 2, calculating pool capacity. This is the rock-solid foundation for any chemical treatment we do. Look, you cannot just eyeball this stuff. To avoid guessing, we use these really straightforward formulas based on the shape of the pool. First, find your average depth. Just add the deep and shallow ends and divide by 2. Then, multiply that by your length and width. If it's a rectangle, multiply by 7.5 to get your total gallons. For circular or oval pools, use 5.9. Because honestly, if you don't know your exact volume, every single drop of chemical you add is just a complete shot in the dark. All right. Section 3, controlling pH with CO2. Let's look at a pretty cool, high-tech way to bring that pH down. By dissolving standard CO2 gas right into the water, we create carbonic acid. The beauty of this is that it safely lowers the pH without any of the scary hazards of liquid acids. No corrosive fumes chewing up your equipment room, and literally 0 risk of creating toxic gas clouds by accidental mixing. Plus, because carbonic acid is so weak, even if the system went completely haywire, the pH will naturally bottom out at 6.8. It physically can't go lower. It's just an incredibly elegant, hands-free setup. An automated system pulls the CO2 from these tanks, runs it through a regulator, and constantly monitors the pool water. The second the pH gets too high, boom, a valve opens and injects CO2 directly into the return line. Super precise, totally automated. But hold on a second, because there is a massive catch here. Injecting CO2 can actually increase your alkalinity over time. As it lowers the pH, that carbonic acid eventually shifts back into bicarbonate alkalinity as the pH naturally rises again. Meaning, if your tap water already has high alkalinity to begin with, a CO2 system is going to make things worse, and you'll end up fighting scale buildup. So it's definitely not for everyone. Which brings us to Section 4, the acid alternative, traditional dosing. Since CO2 can mess with our alkalinity, sometimes we just gotta go old school. You basically have 2 weapons in your arsenal here, liquid or dry. Liquid muriatic acid is an absolute beast. It effectively knocks down both pH and alkalinity at the exact same time by blasting hydrogen ions into the water. On the flip side, you've got dry sodium bisulfate, which is a granular option. It's great, but as we're about to see, it requires some very careful prep work. And that leads us straight into Section 5, adding acid safely. Listen up, because this is the absolute most critical part of this entire explainer.
I need to be crystal clear on this one. Never, ever pour acid straight into a skimmer. If you ignore this rule, you're asking for thousands of dollars in damage. Sending a massive, undiluted slug of pure acid down your pipes will instantly start destroying your pump, your filter, your heater. It literally eats the guts of your pool system in seconds. Just don't do it.
Because acid is way heavier than water, it sinks like a rock. So you absolutely have to pre-dilute it. First, gloves and goggles, non-negotiable. Then, dip a 5-gallon bucket into the pool so it's at least halfway full of water. Next, carefully measure out your acid. We're aiming for a 10-to-1 ratio of water to acid here. Once it's mixed up in the bucket, gently pour it around the perimeter of the deep end so it can safely disperse. And here is the golden rule of pool chemistry. Always add chemical to water. Never ever add water to a dry chemical. If you do, it can cause a violent, literally explosive reaction right in your face. Also, never mix different dry chemicals together, especially chlorine and acid. The fumes from that combination can be lethal. Always prepare your bucket of water first, then slowly add the chemical to it. If you're using dry, granular acid, dumping it straight into the pool is a huge mistake. Those granules will sink straight to the bottom and permanently burn holes right into your plaster or liner. Fill your bucket 3/4 full of water, slowly add no more than 5 pounds of dry acid, and stir it with a wooden stick until it is 100% dissolved. Only then can you pour it around the perimeter. Don't get lazy here, it is just not worth the risk. Oh, and I love this quick pro tip from the field. It will absolutely save you from ruining a very expensive concrete deck. You know how a tiny drop of acid always seems to dribble down the side of the jug? Well, if you set that jug down on the concrete, it instantly etches a permanent white ring into the stone. So just dunk the bottle in the pool water for a quick rinse or set it directly on the plastic skimmer lid. So we've decoded the jargon, we've run the math, and we've laid down the absolute law on chemical safety. Now that you understand the invisible chemical war actually happening in that water, is your pool perfectly balanced to a Longlet index of 0, or are you out there unknowingly fighting a losing battle? Something to think about next time you go to test the water. See you next time.